Hi guys, it's Jeff Quiros here once again with another episode in my continuing series on my life as an artist. I'm going to talk some more today about high school. I was elected student body vice president in my senior year, and that was a very important position. It was the most active position actually in the whole student body government. Because the vice president was in charge of the school dances. And Lick-Wilmerding was an all-boys high school, 250 boys. And so the school dances were vital to to the social life of the school. I ran for election at the end of my junior year, and I used my artistic skill with posters and with my creative notion to come up with, imagine some great dances that everyone would just love, And then I made posters for my vice presidency that detailed the designs of these extravaganzas that we were going to have for school dances if I was elected. And some of them were pretty elaborate posters, and the other guy that ran against me, he didn't have a chance. Basically, I just, took the election by storm. One of these dances was pretty funny, pretty cool. After I won the election, one of the first dances I had had a disco theme. This was back in the time when disco was big time. Saturday Night Fever and all of that, and the Bee Gees and whatever. So anyway, I set up a whole disco themed dance, and it featured two cages with go-go girls inside, and the band in between the two cages, and there were Christmas lights around the outside of the cages, and anyway, big deal. And then there was even a mirrored ballroom mirror ball in the middle of the auditorium, which I made myself out of a broken mirror and a ball covered with glue. Anyway, the disco, I needed a go-go dancer, at least one, and one of my friends, her name was Roberta. She was a real good dancer, really good looking lady, and very, very good dancer. I think she was about a year older than I was. Anyway, so I asked her if she would be our main go-go dancer, and then the other cage would be reserved for amateur go-go dancers, anybody from the audience that wanted to get up there and dance. So she agreed, and so I put my thinking cap on and thought, how am I going to promote this? Her name's Roberta. Her nickname is Berta. Berta Paradise. That's what I'll call her. Berta Paradise, performing live. Anyway, it was a big smash success. Everybody just loved it, and it was just fantastic. There was a couple other dances that were notable. One was followed a Batman theme. Batman was on TV at that time, and the original TV series. And so what we did was took string. We got lots and lots and lots and lots of string, and we just covered the entire ceiling of the gymnasium with string by throwing these balls of string back and forth, made a huge spider web over the entire top of the gymnasium. And then we took a bunch of bats that we cut out of black cardboard and threw them up, and they got stuck up in these spider web. Anyway, that was pretty popular, and entering this dance, you had to go through this labyrinth that we made out of crumpled paper that was actually the entrance to the bat cave. And it looked really pretty cool. It looked like rock, and you had to kind of wander through this labyrinth to get into the dance. Another one was the Hell Dance, Hell dance, And this was meant to be like Dante's Inferno, but what I wanted to do was, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could put up giant posters all over the school that said, "Go to hell," on them. And I thought that was pretty funny. I laugh at my own jokes. And anyway, so what I did was I put together this hell dance, and sure enough, there were signs all over the school saying, "Go to hell." And when the faculty came to me and said, "Well, how can you put these, this language up in the school?" And I said, "Well, I'm just saying, go to the dance." Anyway, so this dance was featured a stage for the band right in the middle of the gymnasium, and with a giant head of a devil looming over the band. And then for decorations, there wasn't much of a decoration. What it was a fog machine. I rented a theatrical fog machine, and which made smoke, and it was supposed to hover, 2 or 3 feet off the ground. And I thought that would be so cool. And I'm gonna have red spotlights all over the place, aiming down on the dance floor, and then this 2 or 3 foot layer of fog all over the bottom of the gymnasium. It'll be really cool. So anyway, I turned on the fog machine, and lo and behold, because it was warm in this gymnasium, the fog didn't stay on the ground. It rose. It rose right to the ceiling. And it completely covered the inside of the gymnasium in this thick smoke. And the faculty advisor, Wick Pratt was his name, I could hear him screaming, Jeff, shut off the fog machine, shut off the fog machine." And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this is the only decoration I've got. If I shut it off, it's going to look, bare in here. We just can't have that. So anyway, I kept pushing the button on the fog machine and making it squirt out more and more and more fog. Anyway, the upshot of that was that you couldn't see your partner. Even if you were standing 2 feet away, you could not see anyone else in this auditorium. Now, except this weird red glow around, and you could hear the band great. But anyway, it actually kind of fit really well, because it's like you got this isolated feeling of being in hell with nothing but smoke and red all around you, and not a single other soul. Anyway, it was really kind of eerie, and people loved it. They just loved it. It was fantastic. And anyway, that was a couple of highlights of some of the more popular dances that we had. When I ran for re-election halfway through the senior year, it was my art teacher, Rolf Penn, who I talked about last time, who said, "Oh boy, this is fantastic. We've got to re-elect Jeff. He's so creative, he's so incredible," and stuff. And there was a cigarette commercial back then, a Territon commercial, that the slug line was, "We'd rather fight than switch." So he thought that was a great slogan. We'd rather fight than switch. We want Jeff reelected. And so this ad featured people on TV with black lines under there, like a black eye, and we'd rather fight than switch. Anyway, so if you came anywhere near Rolf Penn's art room, he would put a black eye on you, and pretty soon, a good chunk of about 50% of the student body was walking around with black eyes. We'd rather fight than switch. So I was reelected by a landslide. Anyway, great memories back from high school. I was also the cartoonist for the school newspaper, and I was also on the yearbook staff, and even designed the cover one year for the yearbook for the senior year. Anyway, hope that gives you some more insight into my life as an artist. Thanks, and please remember to share these episodes with people, with your friends, and anybody you think might be interested. I'd really appreciate it, and appreciate your comments and any thoughts you might have or questions you might want covered in the comments below. Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.